What's up YouTube, welcome to another Firebase video, and this time we are creating a login and sign up page from scratch, and we will do all the validations and password encryption, and we will authenticate the user from Firebase and much more. So let us begin. So there are these three files that we will work on. So first of all, we will create a register page. But for that, we need a Firebase database. So we will create a database first. So go to Google and search for Firebase. You need to be logged in into your Google account for this. So go to Firebase console, add a project, continue, create project, continue. Now create a real-time database. Click this create database button. Select the best suitable location, which is the nearest to your country, or just leave it to United States. Enable. So now the database is created. What we need to do is go to project overview and add a web app here. So web app, give it any name, it doesn't matter. Register app. So click the second option and copy all of these. Continue to console. Even if you lost the configuration, you can come to project overview and click here and to the settings. Now paste the script here. Remove all of these. Now we need some more functions, so we will import some more functions from the Firebase database library. Remember that these two import statements must be inside a script with type module, and the other thing is that this Firebase version should be the same for both of them. This could be any version, but same for both of the import statements. We actually don't need this update and remove. Constant db get database. Now our configuration is finished and we can start creating our register page. Another thing that I would like to add is I need a CDN crypto.js. So I can copy the link from here, and inside my head I can declare a script with this link. Also I would be needing the Bootstrap 4.4 link. So I will be needing this link too. Now I can start creating my register page. So for that I will declare a div. So there can be a heading for the sign up. So there would be a field for full name and class of form control. So this is a Bootstrap class, and I will also put the MB3 over here. So the margin bottom class, sign up, and the classes would be, so these are all Bootstrap classes which make it easy to create a good looking page. The ID of this button will be sub button, and I need a badge. So badge, this type of badge. So the link will go to the login page and it will say, and let's give it a padding so it would stand out. So padding to the top and bottom. Now let us see the results. So this is the current result. What I will do is I will go to the style and change the display of the body to flex, so I can bring all of the inputs buttons to the center of the page. Justify content to center and align items to center. So this looks a lot better. This is not vertically centered because the flex box end here. I need the flex box to occupy the complete view area of this browser. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this make the height and width of the body equal to the viewport. Also, I will make the margin 0 pixel. So we don't need margins over the body. So this looks a lot better. I would like this button to be to occupy the full space of this form. In the buttons class, I would give a Bootstrap class w100. Now it looks better. I would like to give this div a class of, let's say, MB5. Okay, this looks a lot better. MB3. Now let's design the other pages. So I will copy this and paste it here, and let's make the changes. So this will redirect it to the register page, and it will say, and there will be no email or full name inputs, only the username and password. However, I need another thing over here. So I need a switch. I need a Bootstrap switch. So this kind of switch will do. I need it over here before the sign up button. So it will say, keep me logged in. So the home will just get the nav bar, a nav bar, this one. I will paste it in the body and change the light to the dark. We don't need this search button, but we need this form to make the username and sign out button align at the right. So I will copy this UL, paste it here in the form, and remove all of these items because I only need 2 items. So here is the first item. So the home page should also contain the Bootstrap link, and so this is the login page and this is the home page. I will remove this active class, and inside the login page I will just give it MB3. So this looks a lot better. Now we can write some JavaScript to register user, validate the user, and everything else. So let us first register the user. So first we will get all the references. Now the second part is validation, or we could have said, so there will be a function validation. So we will perform all the validations through regular expression. If you don't know about regular expression, I will give out the basics, but I wouldn't get into the details. So I will write the name regex, which will be equals to, so this denotes that there could be any alphabets, small or big, and there could be any number of these alphabets. So that's its regular expression. The email regular expression is made up of many parts. So the first part is there could be any alphabet or number and the plus, which denotes that there should be at least one of these, or there could be any number of these. So any number of uh, any number of string which could be made up of A to Z or 0 to 9. So it could be something like this: ASD 123, so something like that. There should be an @ symbol and a dot symbol. So the dot is a special character, so we need this. So we need this slash to make it a regular dot. And after that, the domain names comes forward. So we can say we only accept the domain which are Gmail, Yahoo, or Outlook. The dot comes after these domain dot com. So you can change this regular expression. It's not some kind of a solid rule. It's just made up of the requirements that we need to validate. So if you need some other kind of email validation, you can set it over here. We also need the validation for username. So the username should be minimum of 5 characters, and there is no limit for the maximum characters. So we validate them one by one. If name regex dot test, and we will test the name dot value. So the name inputs value. I will put the not symbol over here. So if it is not correct, then show an alert saying that, and /n for the new line. If anything goes wrong, just return. So the function will not go any further. If everything is in check, then do nothing. So now we will create the register function. Function register user. First I will define a constant named db reference, which will be useful later. So inside that, a function reference which will take the reference of the db that we have defined over here. And even before this variable, it will validate the inputs. So after this, I will use the get function. Inside that, the child function with the db reference and the folder name, which would be users list. So that will be a folder which will keep all the users inside it. Slash plus username dot value. Then a then promise, which will take an arrow function with snapshot as the parameter. And in this function, I will first check if the snapshot exists. So if the user exists, then say otherwise use the set function to add the data to the Firebase. So the reference function, and inside it the db, the name of the folder which is the users list plus username dot value. So this is the first parameter of the set, which is the reference of the folder that we want to put the data inside. And then the second thing is the object that we want to write to the database. So inside this object, there will be a full name, which will take the value of the name input. Then another then promise, which will take care of the fact that if the user is registered successfully. user added successfully. If that does not happen, then show an error. It's up to you that you want to show the error to the user or not. So after this, the last step remain is to assign the event. So the submit button dot add event listener, the event is click, and the function it is supposed to run is register user. Now we can test this out. And one more thing is that this validation should actually return true and false. So that if this validation returns true, returns false, then return. So if the validation goes wrong, return. So end this function. And I also forgot to put the symbol before the start and end of every regular expression. These symbols denote that the regular expression should exactly meet the rules that are defined within the regular expression. So the name is wrong even if one character is a number or one character in between, in the end or in the start is a digit or is a symbol or something else. So these symbols make sure that nothing is inside the name unless it's a character or a space. So now let's try to test it. Let me put some numbers. It does not accept numbers, and even if there are characters but one number, it will still not accept the name. So if the name has character and space, it will accept the name. So it is now telling me that the email is not valid. Username is not valid. So Raza 55. The password 123. So now the user is added successfully. The password should be hidden. So this should be password. Now our validation works and the user is registered. If I go to the console, there is a user list with a user Raza55 which has a password 123, email and the full name. But it's not good that the admin can see the password of a user. So what we can do is we can encrypt this password, so even if the admin can see the password, it would be encrypted, so it wouldn't be useful to him. We also need to check that the validation checks if the inputs are empty. So for that there is a function which checks that if the string is empty or just spaces. So we will just use this function. So I will create a condition if so now if I if I put if I fill every field but leave the email field empty, it will say you cannot left any field empty. And if I put the wrong email, then it will say enter a valid email. So this is our complete validation. Now moving on to the login page. Now the last thing remain in this register page is to encrypt the password. So I will create a function for that too. Pass12 equals to crypto js dot aes. You would have to write this exactly as it is. Pass dot value and pass dot value. So this is the password that we are encrypting, and this is the key that we are providing. So the key decides that how to decrypt this password. So we are giving the value and the key both as the passwords. So whoever writes the right password, only that person can decrypt the password. Pass 12 dot to string. So this is the encrypt function, and now I will just replace this pass dot value to this encryption function, which will return the encrypted string. So now when we register a user, let's say Hassan Raza, password is 123, sign up. The user already exists. Oh, I created this user. Let's make it 65. So user added successfully. So now even if I try to access this user's data, I cannot see its password because it is encrypted. And I don't have the key to decrypt this password, so I cannot decrypt this password as well. So now let's move on to the register to the login page. So we have already created the link to move on to the login page. So let us create the authentication function for this login page. So first let me get the same references for the login page too. And we don't have the name and input, name and email over here. So just these three. Then in the authentication process, I will first create a DB reference, then use the get function, the same get function. So I can copy it from here. So this complete function, and what I would change is, if the snapshot exists, let db pass equals to decrypt pass and snapshot dot val, and if the db password matches the password that is given by the user, then log in. We will create these functions. Now we need to create these two functions. First is the decrypt function and the second is login function. So decrypt process, and I will take the same function, just change it a little bit. This will be decrypt, and it will decrypt the password from the DB. So it will change the DB password, and the key will be the password given by the user. String function should be notified that it need to convert it to the string, but in the format of crypto.js encrypted dot utf8. So this is the decryption process. So there will be a function login, and the login will send the entire object containing all of the users information. So it will send the entire snapshot value to the login, which will be called user. So it's sending the entire user as an object. So I'm creating a variable, let keep logged in equals to document dot get element by id and the id of this checkbox dot checked. So this is a property that JavaScript can access directly. So if the keep logged in is false, then use the session storage. So the session storage is something which is temporary. So there is a session. So the data only sustain if the session is active. Otherwise the data is gone. So I'm saving my user's data as user in the session variable, and I'm changing the window dot location to home.html. Else I will save my user's information in the local storage variable. So the local storage is a permanent storage which keeps the user logged in even if the browser is closed. So user, and I can just send the user because this session storage save every information as a string. So first I have to convert this object as a string. So I have json.stringify function for that. Another thing that I would add here is I would also create a variable as and send its value as yes. So if a user has checked in the keep logged in functionality, so we will save our users information in the local storage variable because it's permanent. And if the user has not checked the value, then we will save it in the session storage, which remains active if the browser is opened. Now moving on to the home page. Now this needs a script too. And var current user equals to null. It will check that if the local storage dot get item, I need the same name, so this one, if the keep logged in has some value, then check if it is equals to yes, then the current user variable will be equals to json.parse local storage dot get item. So we are getting the item back, which is the user item, so the user variable, and converting it back to the JSON object or the JavaScript object. Otherwise, else we will do the same, but if the keep login is false, then we need to retrieve the data from the session storage. We can also create the sign out function, which will simply remove the variables, remove the user, also remove it from the local storage if it is stored within the local storage, and remove the keep logged in. window.location should be the same page, so it will load itself. Now window.onload, so it will first get the username, and then if the current user equals to null, then user link dot inner text would be changed to create new account, and we will make it look like a button too. So for that, there is a class list dot replace function. So I will replace the nav link class with the button class, and also add the button primary class, and user href equals to register dot html. I mean the user link href will do this. If it is set create new account, then it will move on to the register page. And the sign out link, it will go to the login page, and let's make it button success. Else we will do the opposite. This time the button will tell the name of the user. So current user dot username. Current user has all the properties: username, password, email, and other properties. I am using the username property right now. And actually this href will run the JavaScript function sign out. mx1, so the horizontal margin. And also I forgot that if the user is signed in, then I need another reference over here, which is the header HH. Inner text will be equals to welcome plus current user dot full name. And I also forgot to assign the event too. So let's copy it from here, because the button name and everything is the same, so it will work. We have to change this register user to authenticate user. This dbref was wrong. So now let's try to run this. Let's go to the home page first. Now I will create a new account. Amazing Codeverse TechV password 122. Sign up. User added successfully. Already have an account. Paste the name and password. Let's put the wrong password 123. Login. So it says username or password is invalid. So when I put the correct password, which is 122, and press login, it now logs into my account, and it says welcome amazing codeverse, and here is my username. If I press sign out and if I log in again, you can see that if I close this tab and open it again, my user is signed out. But what if I log in and this time I keep the check in? So keep me logged in. Press login. Then if I close this tab, I am still logged in. If I close this browser and open it again, you can see that I am still logged in. So this is local storage. It keeps the user logged in until the user signs out. So this is all for the video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up and do subscribe to the channel. See you next time.